One pivot point that comes to my mind involves my first day of law school. The day I started law school back in 1994, my wife had a checkup, an appointment with the doctor. We were expecting our first child, and she was only a few months along, and it happened at the same time I was going to be in class, and so I knew she was going to be going to the doctor. But about halfway through the class, my friend who was sitting next to me saw that my wife was standing in the doorway going into the classroom, and he recognized her and he nudged me and he said, "Hey, your wife's standing outside. You better go talk to her." I looked over and there she was, and I thought, yeah, I definitely need to go talk to her. Something was definitely up, and so I went up and talked to Sharon, and she was very emotional, had a hard time explaining why she was there. She was getting choked up, and eventually she was able to utter only two words. She said, "It's two." And I said, "Two what?" Here I was thinking that some member of the family had perhaps been involved in a fatal car accident. She was clearly affected by this, and she said, it's two. It's two babies. We're having two babies. We're having twins." I realized, having just found out a couple months earlier that I was going to be a father, I was now going to be a father of two within just a few months' time. This was a big pivot point for me. This was a quick transition from young adulthood into full-blown adulthood, where I would have a family to provide for, not just a wife and a baby, but two babies. That made everything else I did a lot more serious. It made everything else I was working on in school a lot more consequential, and it certainly forced me to focus in a lot more about what I wanted to do with my career, how I wanted to do it in law school, where I wanted to work, and so forth. In 2002, I was working at a law firm in Washington. It was a great job. I was getting good experience. And one day, I had one of those little desk calendars where each day has its own set of 2 sheets of paper where you can write down notes. And that's typically where I kept track of what work I was doing for which clients and for how much time. I knocked that little calendar over one day, and I had about a year and a half's worth of notes on there. All of a sudden I could see displayed on the floor in front of me basically what I had done with my time for the previous 12 to 18 months. And all of a sudden I thought, this is interesting. I've got my whole life displayed out in front of me right now. Where's this going? Where's it leading? And it caused me to think through what I wanted to be. I realized that I wanted to make sure that I was advancing in my career, and I took some steps at that point to make sure that I was continuing to get good experience in my career, so that I didn't become just another nameless, faceless lawyer in a big firm.